Take your fun full throttle with a single touch. There are places to fly high, swing low, or make the old bell ring. Your targets are in sight. Better your game by playing ball of almost every variety. Need to catch your breath? There's a place for that too. Countless ways to play beyond the swing sets. Breck, we're more than a playground.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Buggs Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the coach. Happy MLK Day to you today, big guy.
It's good to be here on this special occasion.
Very special occasion. We start today's show with LSU basketball. Last week, great week for the Tigers. 3 conference wins, 2 of them coming against ranked opponents.
Yeah, they did extremely well, but that's what happens in a league like the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just never know who's going to knock you off. And Arkansas, who they played without their head coach who had surgery on his shoulder.
Right.
And one of local boy, Keith Smart, from McKinley High School, won a national championship at Indiana, played in the NBA, and he came back and did a wonderful job of coaching.
Is that one of the toughest things about coaching when you defeat 2 ranked teams? Obviously, you look at them on the schedule, anticipating what a fight that's going to be, but then you turn right around to a team like Arkansas and fall flat.
Well, parity is what is going on in college athletics today, Clarence, particularly in basketball and baseball and the other sports. Football is a little different, but we've seen it happen that teams knock off a top team and then they lose.
Right.
But I just think that just what is happening with college athletics is that balance seems to exist around the country, and it's particularly the case here in the SEC.
Is it tougher in basketball with the number of games that you have to play, coupled with the physical exertion from game to game to game?
I think you nailed it there. But let's add it another part to it, that the thing they have to deal with off the court, that's in their social life and everything. There's so many people pulling at them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they're scattered all over the place, just trying to balance their lives. It's so much different than when coaches had total control of players like Bobby Knight and John Wooden and those guys back in there. They had control.
Right.
But right now, kids are all over the place.
How much of a hindrance, and good or bad, right or wrong, it appears as though it's here to stay. How much of a hindrance is social media in all of this?
Well, you and I, we've talked about social media off the air, where social media has some value.
Of course,
It has some value. It also has another side.
Right. Right.
that could be detrimental because if you're not mature enough to handle it just right, know when to cut that phone off where people ain't disturbing you. You got me? And I think that's where they lose their focus a lot, Clarence, when they have to deal with that, whatever their little device, that they have to communicate with people.
Starting slow is something that has plagued this LSU basketball team. How much of that is mental?
Well, I don't know if it's mental or just some people are slow starters. I can't say it's mental. I just say that's the way they start. But, this team played hard. Coach Will Wade has got them really hustling.
Right.
It's just that Arkansas played well. Arkansas player fell on the floor, knocked a 2 down.
Right.
But he came back, and they were able to win. And that's the kind of thing that they played a team that did so many things well within the perimeter of the goal. I was watching it, and I said, wow, these guys are really playing well near the basket.
I posed that question because obviously when you see this develop as a pattern with the team, coaches typically will hammer home, we got to start early, we got to start fast, we got to come out of the blocks swinging. And it still happens. Is that one of those things that you just cannot coach your way out of? The light has to come on in a young person's head for it to be effective?
I coached a lot of years, and I'm trying to give you the answer that might make sense, is that it's just if kids are that way, that they don't warm up as quick, they're not quick starters, that's not a whole lot as a coach you can do other than by the time. By the time when they can catch up to what their normality is, and they can start playing their game the way you say, at full speed. So I just think that's where the bench come in. Do you have to have people who can come in off the bench and fill in for that spot until those guys get ready?
Speaking of the bench, in your years of experience, would sitting a kid on the bench, would that make that motor start turning a little earlier in the game?
I'm not going to say it does, but if that's what it takes, you once you have your team after so many games, Coach Wade probably knows his personnel pretty good now. Sometime a 1 minute sit on the bench is as good as you leaving him out there.
Right.
Because then he can sit there and watch what he's not doing good and then make the adjustment when he goes back out there.
From a coaching standpoint, what's easier? Taking a downtrodden program and returning it to prominence, or taking over a prominent program and keeping it there?
Only you would ask those kind of questions. Why?
You're the coach.
I forgot.
You're the guy with the wealth of experience.
Okay. It depends. Larry Brown could do it well when he coached. Everybody don't want to take a downtrodden program and bring it back up.
Right.
I mean, that's not their MO. Some people just don't want that headache. And there is a headache in doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, it depends on the individual and what's the monetary value of doing it. Because monetarily, you want some value. And if you're going to take a program from here, you need longer-term contract with more money, so you could buy the extra time.
Right. With all of the major sports at our state's flagship university, LSU, all of the programs, major sports, are headed up by marquee names. Kim Mulkey, Jay Johnson, Will Wade, the new coach, Coach Kelly. How much competition do you think there is inter-program when you see the ladies ranked at a certain national level and you're on the men's side of things? Does that bleed over? How much competition do you think there is within the coaching family at LSU to be number one?
Only a damn fool would get involved in that kind of stuff. It doesn't really matter because you better take care of your thing against the opponents you got to beat.
Right.
You're not playing Kim Markey or Coach Johnson. You're not playing against them. So only somebody who is foolishly inclined would want to get involved in that. You see what I'm saying?
I pose that question because obviously if you're the one coach whose program is not elevated up to the level that all the others are, people start giving you that funny eye when you walk across campus and when you're sitting in athletic department meetings. Are you telling me this carries no weight with any of the coaches?
Well, I never looked at it.
Because you always won.
Oh, well, that's not really. I had a value system that wouldn't let me do that.
Right.
I mean, just think about it. Someone is going to get involved in something that has no value, in my opinion, about what someone in the program in the same department I'm in.
Right.
It has no bearing on me.
Uh-huh.
You know, the beautiful thing when I coached at Southern, Pete Richardson was winning. Ben Jobe was winning
Right.
in basketball. Pete Richardson in football.
Uh-huh.
And we never competed. We were happy for each other.
Right.
You know, and, you know, we knew, you see, the thing is you got to get up in the morning and go to bed at night knowing that football, in my case, I knew football was number one and basketball was number two.
Right.
And I was somewhere down the line.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying for me, it didn't make a lot of difference. But I could imagine there are some people where there is a problem because you wouldn't ask that question
Right.
unless you have seen or know of some situation.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I would say that there's somebody, but it's foolish to get involved in that kind of stuff.
Ultimately, does success breed success, or does it end up being predicated on the individual?
Success really breed it. I mean, just like losing, you know, if you lose all the time, you're always thinking, no, when I'm going to win.
Right.
When you're winning, you don't think about losing. You got me? You just keep going out there and you're able to put things back together fast in case something get derailed. You can put it back together fast.
So in that regard, then, the old adage, winning is a habit, but so is losing, is true.
It's true.
Vince Lombardi, by the way. Vince Lombardi.
Yeah, it's true. I remember when Prairie View was losing, and they had no way of winning because they didn't have any scholarship.
Well, yeah.
So, but they took losing in stride.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I mean, it became habit forming across football, basketball, baseball, track and field, whatever. They just took it in stride.
When that sentiment takes hold, oh, well, we lost another one. Is that one of the toughest things for a coach to get a program out of?
If you don't have scholarship. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm of the belief that if everything is equal,
right,
with the scholarships,
right,
and I'm talking about in your conference, I'm not talking about anywhere else.
Right.
Now we know. Let's take the SEC. We don't expect Vanderbilt to win.
No.
In football.
No offense, Vandy.
But they win in baseball because it's a little different.
Right.
You know, but they're never going to win in football because they don't have, Al Campanis, the necessities to win. They're not going to be able to get that borderline kid with the grades who is really going to make them competitive. He ain't getting into Vandy.
No.
You see, so that's why they're not going to be able to ever win, even though they have the allotment of scholarships. So everything is not equal when a school who can get in borderline kids. And that's where you find out, you know, you got your kids here and your kids here and your kids here. Between here and here is where most of the kids are.
Right.
Between here and here is where the least amount of kids are.
Right.
So you're going to find 2.5 kids to 2.2 in mass, and that's where the players are.
When we come back after our first break of this hour, we got a very special guest, one of two. And this is, in Coach's words, a kid that is up here. Stick around. You don't want to miss this coming up next on this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunners 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg, we just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Don't adjust your camera. Nothing happened to Clarence. How about that? He didn't get younger. I've got a special guest by the name of Javier Pueblo, 11 years old, a citizen from the great country of Caracas, Venezuela. He's here with his mother, his father, 2 grandmothers, and a grandfather. They're all here to support you. Javi, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. You know, you've been well reported on, Javi, because you've done a lot of wonderful things. You're a good student in school. And I remember when you were maybe 8 years old, and your grandmother, who is a teacher, was telling me about you. She said, you know, I went to the school today, and I was so happy and impressed with the way Javi was trying to help and aid some of the kids who were less fortunate. Can you talk to us about that, Javi?
Well, yeah, I agree. She also does the same thing. And me and my family does a cancer service thing every year. And we just for Thanksgiving, we just bring turkey. We've done it with us. For Christmas, we give out pajamas and everything. And sometimes we give food to the homeless. We did it on New Year's. And it was pretty nice to see people happy.
That's really impressive for a young person to take an interest in the less fortunate and happy to do it. We're going to talk about your athletic thing, but, I remember also, Javier, another thing. You know, your father and mother and you had to go back to Venezuela. Maybe how old were you when you had to go back to Caracas?
4 or 5, I think.
Yes.
I'm not really sure.
4 or 5. And that was a culture shock because you were born in the USA and you had to leave for a year or so to go back. And one of the things your daddy told me was that because the traffic was so bad in Caracas, you said to him, we've got to get back to the United States. And that's so wonderful for a young person like you to recognize that. And, I've always been impressed with you. Your mother and father are like my kids. We're a family, so, and you're my grandson, by the way, according to Mama, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the thing is, we know you play a lot of sports.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what sports you play.
Baseball, soccer, I run track and cross country, and I do basketball.
And you do all of that at, what's the name of your school you go to?
St. John Vianney.
Yeah, that's pretty good. A private Catholic school, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's good. Now, I know you've been around baseball. I remember when Dad coached with me. And by the way, his dad's name is Fernando Pueblo. And he played and coached under me. you would come around, and I always thought that you loved baseball, and I liked the way you handled it. But you were a student because you weren't just there. You were looking and trying to learn. Tell me some of the things that baseball have taught you.
Well, I learned from baseball how to like work with people because the people I work with are like really nice and they encourage me when I like strike out or get out. And it's just helped me with life.
That's good. It does. Now, I think, then the next sport you started playing was soccer before basketball and track and field. Tell me something about soccer. What you think the benefits of playing soccer for you?
Probably like agility with the feet. Like it's kind of like track. You run back and forth. Mm-hmm. And it just helped me control my feet.
Yes.
It's really tiring, though.
Well, I noticed you have good feet. I don't know if you're a good dancer like your dad, but I've been noticing you have really good feet, and that's important. Then you got into running track, and you did all of that to help benefit your school. You started running track, and then you started playing basketball. And I heard on this weekend you had 4 games, one behind the other. Soccer. Basketball, soccer, basketball. And that's really kept you busy. And you know what? For kids in the way the world is today, we're finding staying busy has benefits because it keeps kids from playing too many video games or the wrong elements get in the way. And I think you enjoy that because whenever I come able to visit your home, you and your brother are never on the video. You're playing baseball in the backyard or you're on the trampoline. Tell me some of the things that you enjoy playing with your young brother. Adrian, by the way, his young brother's name is Adrian. He'll let me know if I don't mention his name.
Well, sometimes we go fishing. We have a lake in the back. And my parents bike with me sometimes. My mom likes to bike. And we also play with our Nerf guns.
Yes.
It's fun. I always beat him.
Yeah, you beat him?
Yeah.
You should, Javi. The thing that I like about what you do with your young brother playing baseball, you don't take it easy on him. You throw it like you're throwing to another 11-year-old, and he's there taking it. And I'm really impressed that, it's going to, and I often tell your daddy, we better watch out. Adrian is going to be a hell of a player because he's trying to keep up with his big brother, and you're making him tougher, right?
Yes, it's like the Seegers.
Yeah, well, good. Well, Javi, I want you to know I really appreciate it. I hope that all the young people out there and their parents are watching. This is a beautiful young man based upon the fact that he takes nothing for granted. He was born in the state. He had to go back to Caracas. And he was smart enough to know that he wanted to get back here. Now, Caracas used to be a beautiful city in a great country. It's not that anymore. So we're happy to have you as a citizen. And I know you're going to do a lot of good things as we go forward, okay? We're going to take a quick break, Marty, and we'll return with Mr. Clarence Bug in his real self.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient, they're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport.
Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights. Gravitate towards something out of this world. Even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. BRAC, we're more than a playground.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, of the Old Habits Die Hard, the Roger Cador Show. Said I wasn't going to do that today. Do not attempt to adjust the brightness on your television set. This is not Roger Cador. This is the esteemed father of both Javier, who was with us in the last segment, and Adrian. We're talking about none other than Fernando Puebla. Coach, how are you today?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
How proud are you of your kids?
I'm very proud. They're good kids, very respectful, and they know what's right and what's wrong. And they take a huge pride on that, and very happy, very proud of them.
It is so refreshing to watch these young men, Javier and Adrian, and their dedication to serving other people. What do you tell them about the importance of that?
Well, yeah, I'm a factor of somebody trying to help, and that's of course Coach Cador. You know, I wouldn't be here without him, and he believed in me when I was a walk-on from Venezuela that couldn't really speak English.
Right.
And I was trying to fight for a position against a kid that I don't know if you've heard of, but his name is Ricky Weeks.
Somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I heard of that name before.
So if you put those two guys right next to each other and try to fight for a position, I think we'll have to agree that Ricky Weeks was a little bit better.
Just a little
bit better than me.
Yeah.
But Cador saw something in me, and he gave me a chance. And that's really, that changed my life forever. Any other coach probably would have went with the higher, bigger name, Ricky Weeks, instead of me. But I don't know what he saw in me, but I'm glad he did.
Coming from the country of Venezuela, what does America mean to Fernando Puebla?
Oh, it means so much. Like Cador mentioned a minute ago, we did have to go back. In 2014, we went there for 7 months and 2 days. I counted every single day because I was ready to get back here.
Wow.
And when I came back, it really helped me so much because I even though I was born and raised in Venezuela, I had been here for 14 years. So I might have forgotten what good and bad really was till I went there and experienced firsthand. It's a tough situation. We're going through a lot of issues, and we have been going through a lot of issues for the last, I want to say, 15, 20 years as a country. So for everybody here in America that take it for granted, this is a good situation here. All you really have to do is just work hard and just try to help your neighbor.
It's as though you were sneaking a peek at the questions I wanted to pose to you, because the very next one happened to be, what does your gut tell you? What does your heart tell you? Do most Americans truly grasp how great this country is and how good we have it here?
No, they don't, but it's not their fault. They can't. They've never seen the other side. And when you don't see the other side, you don't know how good you really have it. That's why we like to travel. And I always tell people, try to travel so that way you can see what other countries, other cultures, how other people behave, and how they live, and how little they have, and how grateful they are of having whatever it is that they have. It doesn't have to be much. And they're so grateful for it. And you see people here, and sometimes they forget, and they think they're entitled to things when they're really not.
Amen. I want to say it was Mark Twain that penned the phrase, travel is the biggest enemy of bigotry and hatred. It has a way of opening your eyes to things that are closer to you. Right. One of the things that's been a hallmark for you, and I think your former teammates, players will all agree, your work ethic is second to none. Where did that come from, Fernando?
Well, I couldn't fail. That's probably the greatest motivation.
Well, yes, you could have.
No, failing wasn't an option because failing meant I had to go back to Venezuela.
Right.
And I just that wasn't an option. And I think that's why people, foreigners that come here, they have that extra motivation.
Right.
It's knowing what. If you don't work, what you need to go back to.
Right.
So to me, that was the thing. When I got here, and again, I was facing Ricky. I had to find a way to be better than him. And I think it was hard, but it also motivated me. I couldn't take a day off, and back then I didn't have a car, so I had to ride 2 buses to get to school and to get back. And at the same time, I couldn't really speak the language.
Right.
So it was tough, but again, I knew if I put the work in, what I could become, and if I didn't, what could happen to me. So
it is probably one of the most unique situations you'll ever encounter. A Venezuelan learning to play the game at a higher level at a historically black college and university. How did Southern University help shape Fernando into the person that he is today?
Well, it helped me tremendously, especially because of Coach Cador. I saw him, he was the leader. And, when you say HBCU, that's an American thing.
Right.
Where I'm from, we don't have colors. We're all the same.
Nice.
And, so I didn't really understand. It was a cultural shock. I couldn't understand why they had the division.
Right.
But I never really saw it. And all the guys I played with, it was never an issue. The fact that I was from a different place and I spoke with a strong accent.
Right.
They just welcomed me and they try to help me and they try to talk to me slowly so I could understand. And it was I wouldn't have changed it for anything. That was the best experience I ever had.
If ever there was a person that could have said, well, I'm from a poor country. Well, I don't speak the language that well. Well, I'm behind a guy that's going to end up probably in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. If there's anybody that could have said, the deck is stacked against me, I'm going to throw in the cards, it would be you. Why didn't you?
No, why would I? So you're telling me there is a chance, right?
Right.
I was already here, so I had a chance.
Right.
And that's what a loser would do. Make an excuse.
Right.
I never make an excuse.
Right.
If there is a chance, I'll figure it out, and I'll make it happen, just with that little chance. All I need is a chance.
What do you try to instill in the kids that you coach or interact with?
The exact same thing. I preach a lot of what Coach Cador used to preach to us.
Right.
A little bit at a different level. Now, my kids are 11. I coach 11-year-olds.
Right.
We still don't use the word win, and we don't count scores. We don't count runs.
Okay.
At this level, I try to count smiles and good memories, but we never say the word win, and we don't count runs. Every kid plays the same amount of innings. It's not about winning. And if I use the word win, it's we're winning a lot of memories, and we're having a great time out there.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Yes, sir.
Tell me something funny about Roger Cador.
Funny.
I mean, I know.
I can't say it on TV. No. Funny. He used to get not mad. Just his true stories, but they were true. Now sometimes he took it to the extreme.
Right.
But at the end, it was all about trying to help us understand and try us to help us see the bigger picture. So.
He is a proud dad. He is a coach. And on top of all of that, he's a great American. Fernando Puebla, thank you, my friend. Keep up the good work.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll take a quick break, come back, and continue this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. See, I didn't say it this time. That's next. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946. Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Roger Cador Show. We are taping today's show as we celebrate and relive the importance to people of color and this country as a whole on MLK Day. Coach, we would be remiss in our duties if we did not acknowledge what this day means for America and for people of color. Now, that being said, like me, I know it bothers you a lot watching our young black men killing each other to the degree that we are.
And it's tragic. It's happening all over the country. Mm-hmm. And it's just seemed like it's no end. And you keep trying to say, what is the answer? What is the answer? What can we do to change the trajectory of where it's taking us?
Right.
I mean, I'm afraid at night to go out of my house. It's just that bad. Mm-hmm. Life means nothing anymore, you know?
Yeah.
This morning I was talking with my brother around 7:30, and he mentioned Dr. King. He said they ran something on TV, was looking at a program, and he said,
right.
He said, I started crying.
Wow.
Because of what that man gave his life up to, and now what we have to deal with our young people. So there it is.
What do you think Dr. King would think of what the black community has become these many years after his struggles and his death?
Well, we don't want to think all of the black community is bad.
Of course
Even
not.
in the bad community, there are good people. It's just that the bad people have taken front page story.
Uh-huh. Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah, they get the grease. And there are a lot of good people in those neighborhoods. They're just stuck and can't get out of them. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't be happy. And the struggle he would say, the struggle continues. Let's try to find a way out. Right. The only way we're going to have to find a way out of this situation. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways to take away those guns. Mm. That's really, if we could find a way.
The illegal gun.
Oh, yeah, right. The illegal gun. Yeah. I didn't mention that. Yeah. Illegal gun. We got to take them away.
Mm-hmm. Where are we failing with our kids? We don't have to look too far to see every day how the social fabric of our society is just being torn apart. Where are we failing our kids?
At home. That's where it all starts there. We could blame the schools. We could blame everything else.
Right.
But when we look at it again, it's what's happening in the homes that are not really good for the kids, and they take it out of there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, the parents, fathers take off and abandon the mother with the kids. The mother's got to go work 2 jobs. The kids on their own, or they got to throw them on someone else to raise them.
Right.
So that's where it's at. It's in the home.
Despite the demonizing of law enforcement, and we've seen it all across the country, we in the African American community are more impacted by violent crime than any other. That being said, we have to support the police to support ourselves, do we not?
Yeah, I was, before I came over here today, I was talking with a police officer, and I commend him. I said, people don't appreciate what you all do. I said, if something happened in the community, you guys and the firemen, EMS, y'all running in there.
Running in.
And I said, why can't people really understand how valuable you guys are?
Yeah.
And I said, it's because 1 or 2 bad apples can make 99.9% of you all bad because they have 2 of them.
Right.
So there it is.
At the end of the day, Coach, when we look at our community and the fact that we now are afforded all the rights, the freedoms, the liberties that any other American, regardless of race, creed, or color, is afforded, how painful is it to watch us not take advantage of the things that Dr. King and others fought for us to be able to do?
The way you said it, we've been afforded all the right. You go in them communities, them people don't think that, Clarence.
I know.
I mean, that's the beauty of me.
And how sad is that?
And it's really sad because I've had the opportunity to go in the cities in Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, Houston. I've been in New York. I've been in those cities, and I can hear them because I had to go in the gut to get kids out of there.
Right.
And you have to listen to what people are saying. And they don't think that the system has taken care of them. It's that they have been forgotten. So you can't just say it. You can say it, but these people, it's a blockage from them hearing you saying it because of some of the things that has happened to them. And some of it because some politician took advantage of them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's part of the whole picture is that these people think they have been forgotten about.
We mentioned earlier in this segment how the bulk of this falls on the parents and what happens at home. That being said, if there is a parent, and God, it pains me to have to ask this question this way, but if there's a parent at home that was raised by parents that don't appreciate discipline, education, the things that it takes to be successful in this world, they are now raising kids. And the old adage is, you can't teach what you don't know. If you don't know it, you can't teach it to your kids. That falls on someone else. That being said, here comes the painful part.
Let it out.
Are we at a point where we have lost a generation?
Well, I don't want to say lost, Clarence, lose. You know why?
Why?
If you look back in slavery, you would say that was a lost generation and we came out of it. You remember, we were denied every right humanly possible.
Right.
And we came out of it. So I'm not going to say today with the problem we have that we've lost the generation. We've lost a large portion of it, but there's still a lot of people who are doing quite well.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't want to say we've losing them because as I move around and see things, I think we're going to have a chance. It's just not going to happen in the way we want it to happen.
Right.
Because we're humans.
Yeah.
We want everything to be right.
It has long been acknowledged that the easiest, most effective way out of poverty is through education. It's one of those things that you just can't argue with because it's been proven over and over and over again. How can we restore the importance of education in the black community?
Now, I'm not versed in that area to be able to say how can. The people who are trying, we have to just basically keep trying to do what is afforded us and see where it takes us.
Right.
Because people are trying, and there are going to be some people who are going to grasp it.
Right.
And I think that our struggle is a little more difficult because there are some people who are holding some people back.
Right.
And they're holding them back because they're doing the wrong things. And so, but all of them are not going to do it. And I'm telling you, the thing with the shepherd with 100 sheep, and one got lost and he left the 99 to go find that one. There is a reason it was put in the Bible, because it tells you everyone is important. All it takes is one.
Amen.
All it takes is one person who can make a difference. So that's why I don't think it's over. I just think it's a struggle, and we gotta fight through it.
Well, fight we will continue to do. No two ways about it. Final break of today's show. We'll come back and wrap up this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Come on, Adrian, you do it.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946. Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Come on.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Coach, watching you interact with Fernando, Adrian, Javier, is that one of the greatest blessings in all of coaching, is to tutor a young man, bring him into adulthood, and then years later get to watch through his children what you instilled in him?
Yeah, I want to go back to Fernando. What he didn't say about Ricky Weeks that a lot of coaches wouldn't do. I moved Ricky Weeks because he was better than Ricky at shortstop and moved Ricky to second. See, he didn't tell you that part of it.
Right.
And I called Ricky Weeks in because a lot of coaches wouldn't do it. And I set him down. I said, Ricky, I've got to make a move. I want to put Fernando at short. You got to go to second.
Right.
And you know what Ricky said?
What?
I'm good with it because Fernando is better than me.
Get out.
See, and that's a part of the story people miss because a lot of coaches wouldn't have the guts to approach a Ricky Weeks.
Right.
But I wasn't afraid because I was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but yeah, to be able to see what is transforming from what, Fernando has done, and he's got 2 wonderful kids, and they're going to do wonderful things. And that's the kind of world we want to try to develop to help people. And we have to pass things along.
Yeah. The old adage in the Bible is, if I could pick one that would relate to this, it seems as though the way that worked out, Fernando moving in, Ricky moving over, and the team doesn't miss a beat. Neither do these two individuals miss a beat. The scripture that comes to mind is, well, two. One, the prayers of a righteous man availeth much. The other would be, the steps of a righteous man are ordered. That was just meant to be. But God used you as the vessel and the vehicle to make that happen. That's got to feel pretty darn good, Coach.
Well, it does. And, Fernando is just one of many that this has happened to, because, again, he told you about the true stories. I wasn't going to tell him something that had no benefit when they find out it wasn't a true story.
Right.
You got me?
Right.
So, but I wanted this thing to live on. And the way to do it is to be honest and tell them the truth. So, but I've had so many wonderful situations. Like I mentioned, I went in those inner cities and got kids out where the mothers cried.
Wow.
They cried and said, take my son and make a man out of him. I mean, those are the experiences I can feel them because I was there.
Right.
I can tell you about them.
Right.
But you had to be there. And I don't know if I told you about the one situation. It was a rainy night, Sunday night. I got a call from Chicago. It was lightning and thundering. And they said, you need to come. You can sign the boy, Chauncey Moore.
Wow.
And I told my wife, and she begged me not to go.
Right.
And I said, I got to go. I said,
Wow.
that kid, they need me to come up there. And I went and got him out of Cabrini Green in Chicago, one of the worst areas.
Notorious.
Yeah, so those are the kind of situations. But God protected me. I got in it, got out of it, and got the kid out. And the kid now is working as a stockbroker.
Wow.
On the Chicago Stock Exchange. So those are the kind of things you got to be proud of.
Yeah. How heavy a burden is that to walk into, knowing you literally have a young person's entire future in your hands? That's not something that, as we get older in life, we take for granted. We downplay it or what have you. How heavy a burden is that to take upon yourself?
It was no burden. I didn't look at it as that because in our community, it always been that type of situation,
right,
where someone had to take a kid and hold him by the hand and get him down. That's what my situation was similar. It's just that I wasn't in the inner city.
Right.
I was on the farm.
Yeah.
You got me? So it's no different. So I didn't look at it as a burden. I look at it as a necessity that give this kid a chance and just help him to get to manhood.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have done so well and made me proud.
And that's why when you call, they answer. No two questions about it. Let's shift gears a little bit. Jerry Rice, arguably the greatest of all time.
Wide receiver,
announcing this week that after watching Coach Prime at Jackson State, makes him want to get into coaching now. How awesome would it be to have two of the greatest of all times, one on the offensive side, well, the other on the offensive and defensive side, coaching at HBCUs in particular?
I think it would really be good because, there is a big interest still that people want to come back to HBCUs and coach and do something because, you know what? The opportunities are there where he may not have it anyplace else.
Yeah.
And now he's seen that he can make a difference in someone's life. So he knows that it's a challenge because they don't have the necessity financially,
right,
and facilities.
Yeah.
So he knows that, but he's in his mind, he's thinking about it,
right.
And if he gets an opportunity, he may just jump at it.
If you could sit down with Jerry Rice, and he's leaning toward getting into coaching, from your years of experience, what advice would you give to Jerry?
You got to hire people who understand the situation that exists there. That got hire. You can't go hire a person just because they got a name. Must understand what is taking place at Mississippi Valley. They don't have all of this. They don't have that. Right. And you're going to have to do a lot without a lot. And, so don't just go hire a name. just hire someone who understands and probably get someone who came out of those situations.
Right.
You know, because it's going to be a struggle the first few years. Now, maybe then you can upgrade after you build it.
From day one, when he set foot on Jackson State's campus, Coach Prime has preached accountability and discipline. If we go back to the previous segment, celebrating MLK Day and the state of the African American community, is that what our young men need these days more than ever?
They always will. Accountability, discipline, all of those things will always be an integral part of everybody's life in order to make it, no matter where you are.
Is it ever too early to teach that to our children?
No, you can start them when they're babies. That's when you really start, when they begin to understand, and maybe before, you know, they even able to talk back to you, you know.
I saw this week, shifting gears again, the 2022 SWAC baseball tournament has been moved to Birmingham, Alabama, the AA Birmingham Barons Stadium. I want to say it's an 8,500 seat facility. What do you make of the move?
I've been in constant contact with the commissioner because I've been trying to help him do some things. So it's a one-year thing right now.
Right.
We're trying to do something else, but it's a great location. I really wish we could get it in Louisiana because you can get more, but we couldn't work out the logistics.
Right.
And he wanted something like that. He wanted to put the kids in a venue that is really professional.
Yeah. What is it going to take for the African American community to embrace baseball the way we once did? Or are those days gone?
I don't want to say they're gone, but it's not easy. Football and basketball is taken up, and then the dollar, you only have so much you can stretch your dollars and make it work. But we'll just have to see what happens, what direction it goes in. Maybe it's somebody, they'll hire a baseball coach at a school that can strike something and get people to come out. I don't know.
Right.
We did a lot of great things at Southern and they wouldn't come out. So I don't really know.
The impact that it can have on the community, bringing us all together, kids from different factions and the like. Can you stress how important that is in a community like ours these days?
Well, I think the only way this thing could work, Clarence, and that's my opinion, it has to be diverse. You're going to have a little bit of everybody in order to do. You're not going to have an all-black team anymore.
Right.
That's, in baseball, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
I think if you're going to be successful, it's got to be diverse, and you're going to have to go across the board and get a lot of people.
Well, that is going to put a wrap on today's edition of the Roger Cador Show. A very, very special thank you to Javier, to Adrian, to Fernando, his whole family, showing up to support these absolutely wonderful young men. And who knows, you may be able, a little later on down the road, to say, I remember seeing him win, fill in the blank with some great accomplishments. On behalf of the coach and the crew, I'm Clarence Buggs. We'll see you next week with another edition of the Roger Cador Show. See you then.
Send me so.